there, I'm Chef Lauren Zobac, and I've been invited back by the Northarvest Bean Growers Association to play with some more beans. Today, we're gonna make some minestrone. Today for our minestrone, we will need onions, carrots, and celery, some parsley and zucchini, spinach, vegetable stock, diced tomatoes, kidney beans, great northern beans, green beans, garlic, a bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, and some pasta. Today we're using ditalini pasta, but any small noodle will work. Frequently this recipe is made with shells. We're gonna chop all of our mirepoix, which is our onions, celery, and carrots, into a medium to small dice. Sharper the knife, the safer the knife. We are now gonna dice our celery and carrots, try and keep it about the same size as our onions. Unlike the onions, the celery and the carrots don't wanna make you cry. Generally with mirepoix, it's a 2-to-1 onions to celery and carrots. So this is roughly a cup or so of onions to about a half a cup of celery and a half a cup of carrots. You're not coming to the party. Go. Now to saute. Beginning of this soup starts like many. We're gonna go ahead and in a nice hot pot with a little bit of olive oil, saute off our mirepoix. Mirepoix is a fancy French word that means celery, onions, and carrots, and it's the base for many, many soups. We'll hit this with a little bit of salt, roughly a half teaspoon or so, and a couple cracks of fresh black pepper. While we sweat down these onions, we'll smash and mince 2 cloves of garlic. One of my favorite things about making soup is that it's actually a French cooking test. To lead somebody to a refrigerator and ask them to make you soup, and consequently making soup is one of my favorite things to do. We're gonna go ahead, just to keep our zucchini from overcooking, and dice this now and add it to the pot once our onions have cooked down just a little bit to give them a head start. When you are dicing your vegetables, it's important to remain cognizant that the size of the veg you're cutting will fit into a spoon, thereby fitting into your mouth. Go ahead and add that zucchini and toss that with the rest of our veg. Once we get that incorporated, we're gonna add our garlic and 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. We'll let this saute just for a minute or two to give that tomato paste an opportunity to caramelize and coat the rest of the vegetables. While that tomato paste is cooking, we'll open up some of our cans. Into this pot are 2 cans of diced tomatoes. While we give those tomatoes a head start, We'll take a minute to rinse and drain our canned beans. So analog that this is technology for me. We'll add our rinsed and drained Great Northerns and kidney beans. Additionally, we'll also add our vegetable stock. You could absolutely substitute chicken stock or beef stock here. I just like to keep it vegetarian. We'll allow this to come to temp, and while it does, we're gonna go ahead and rough chop a couple handfuls of spinach. In this recipe, you could use as little or as much as you'd like. I like to leave this to about a cup or so, keeping in mind that it does cook down significantly. Let's just use it all. If you find that your cutting board seems to slide around, a great way to fix that is with a dish towel or a damp paper towel. It will stop any slip sliding and keep you safe. Okay. As soon as we see this come to a bare simmer, we're gonna add our pasta and our spinach and green beans, and that pasta will cook in the broth in the 7 to 10 minutes, or as the package directions say. And now we just wait. Now that we're at a bare simmer, we can start thinking about adding our vegetables. And we're gonna add our green beans and our spinach along with our noodles. The pasta itself will be cooked in that broth and have the opportunity to absorb all those flavors. We'll also give it a chance to keep our green beans tender crisp and wilt down our spinach. So to this, we're going to add a half a cup of pasta. And as I said before, if ditalini is not your jam, go ahead and add some small shells. I would keep to a smaller pasta though, again, being cognizant that it fits in your spoon. Half a cup of noodles, green beans, spinach, and we'll give it one more pinch of salt for good measure. Fold it all together and we'll bring it to a boil to allow those noodles to cook. We'll go ahead and cover this and allow it to come to a boil to cook those noodles. Depending on the cook time that your box says or your bag says, these noodles will typically take 7 to 10 minutes. And we wait. It's been close to 7 minutes, so let's check and see how our pasta's doing. I'm going to resist the urge to throw it against the counter or the wall and see if it sticks. I think that only works with spaghetti. Those noodles are almost done, so let's taste our broth and check it for seasoning. That is really hot. Try not to burn yourself. We're gonna go a pinch more salt and a crack or two of pepper, and we're there. Typically when I'm making minestrone, I like to cut back on the salt a little bit because when we do garnish it, it'll be with Parmesan cheese, and that has a tendency to bring a little more salt to the party. Let's grate some parm and get this ready to bowl up. I'm gonna finally grate some Parmesan cheese in a little pile that we'll use to garnish the soup. This is my trusty microplane. It's one of my favorite kitchen tools. It's great for zesting citrus, for grating parm, or any other hard cheeses. And what I like most about it is the consistency it gives you is almost like snow, but delicious snow. That's probably enough cheese for just me. If you want extra cheese, go nuts. Now that we've got our soup, our noodles are cooked through, and all of our vegetables are tender, we'll go ahead and ladle this into a bowl and garnish it with some chopped parsley and some Parmesan cheese. 3, 2, 1, moment of truth. We like our portions big here in the Midwest, so we can grow all of our humans big and strong. Parsley, a nice showering of Parmesan cheese. And there you have it, a nice hearty bowl of minestrone soup. In this version, we did use kidney beans and Great Northerns. You could easily swap that out for a different smaller red bean or white bean or a butter bean. Minestrone soup is delicious, and this version happens to be vegetarian. If you wanted to omit the cheese and keep it vegan, by all means. You could also omit the noodles if you needed to keep it gluten-free. You could also, in theory, swap out that spinach for kale or another hearty mustard green or a heartier winter green. This is fine on its own, but it's also great with some garlic bread or breadsticks or even a side salad. This will keep in your fridge up to a week, but also freezes beautifully. Bon appetit. It's snowing. Snowing Parmesan cheese.